Epistle 15 of St. Cyprian, to Moises and Maximus and the rest of the confessors. Argument. The burden of this letter is given in Epistle 31, below, where the Roman clergy say, on which subject we owe you and give you our deepest and abundant thanks, that you threw light into the gloom of their prison by your letters. Cyprian to Moises and Maximus, the presbyters and other confessors, his brethren, greeting. Celerinus, a companion both of your faith and virtue, and God's soldier in glorious engagements, has come to me, beloved brethren, and represented all of you, as well as each individual, forcibly to my affection. I beheld in him, when he came, the whole of you, and when he spoke sweetly and often of your love to me, in his words, I heard you. I rejoice very greatly when such things are brought to me from you by such men as he. In a certain manner, I am also there with you in prison. I think that I, who am thus bound to your hearts, enjoy with you the delights of the divine approval. Your individual love associates me with your honor. The Spirit does not allow our love to be separated. Confession shuts you up in prison. Affection shuts me up there. And I indeed, remembering you day and night, both when in the sacrifices I offer prayer with many, and when in retirement I pray with private petition, beseech of the Lord a full acknowledgement to your crowns and your praises, but my poor ability is too weak to recompense you. You give more when you remember me in prayer, since already breathing only celestial things and meditating only divine things, you ascend to loftier heights, even by the delay of your suffering, and by the long lapse of time, are not wasting, but increasing your glory. A first and single confession makes blessed. You confess as often as, when asked to retire from prison, you prefer the prison with faith and virtue. Your praises are as numerous as the days, as the months roll onward, ever your merits increase. He conquers once who suffers at once. But he who continues always battling with punishments, and is not overcome with suffering, is daily crowned. Now therefore, let magistrates and consuls or proconsuls go by. Let them glory in the ensigns of their yearly dignity, and in their 12 fasces. Behold, the heavenly dignity in you is sealed by the brightness of a year's honor, and already in the continuance of its victorious glory has passed over the rolling cycle of the returning year. The rising sun and the waning moon enlightened the world, but to you, he who made the sun and moon was a greater light in your dungeon, and the brightness of Christ, glowing in your hearts and minds, irradiated with that eternal and brilliant light the gloom of the place of punishment, which to others was so horrible and deadly. The winter has passed through the vicissitudes of the months, but you, shut up in prison, were undergoing, instead of the inclemencies of weather, the winter of persecution. To the winter succeeded the mildness of spring, rejoicing with roses and crowned with flowers. But to you were present roses and flowers from the delights of paradise, and celestial garlands wreathed your bows. Behold, the summer is fruitful with the fertility of the harvest, and the threshing floor is filled with grain. But you who have sown glory reap the fruit of glory, and placed in the Lord's threshing floor, behold the chaff burnt up with the unquenchable fire. You yourselves, as grains of wheat, winnowed and precious corn, now purged and garnered, regard the dwelling place of a prison as your granary, nor is there wanting to the autumn spiritual grace for discharging the duties of the season. The vintage is pressed out of doors, and the grape, which shall hereafter flow into the cups, is trodden in the presses. You, rich bunches out of the Lord's vineyard, and branches with fruit already ripe, trodden by the tribulation of worldly pressure, fill your winepress in the torturing prison, and shed your blood instead of wine. Brave to bear suffering, you willingly drink the cup of martyrdom. Thus the year rolls on with the Lord's servants. Thus is celebrated the vicissitude of the seasons with spiritual deserts and with celestial rewards. Abundantly blessed are they who, from your number, passing through these footsteps of glory, have already departed from the world, and having finished their journey of virtue and faith, have attained to the embrace and the kiss of the Lord, to the joy of the Lord himself. But yet your glory is not less, who are still engaged in contest, and about to follow the glories of your comrades, are long waging the battle, and with an unmoved and unshakable faith, standing fast, are daily exhibiting in your virtues a spectacle